Urgent, Austin Reaves makes an unexpected decision about the Lakers. Stay until the end to find out everything. But first, leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any news about the Lakers. Austin Reaves has always envisioned his future tied to the Los Angeles Lakers. Ever since joining the franchise 4 years ago, the versatile guard has solidified his role as one of the most essential players on the roster. His breakthrough season left no doubt about his impact on the court. However, the disappointment of an early playoff exit sparked waves of trade rumors, putting his name at the center of discussions throughout the NBA community. Despite all the noise, Reeves remains firm in his commitment. His heart is set on finishing his career in Los Angeles. "My goal is to spend my entire career with the Lakers," Reeves stated confidently in a recent interview. "I love everything about Los Angeles. The fans, the atmosphere, the weather, and even the chance to play golf year-round. More importantly, the Lakers are the greatest organization in the NBA." These words come at a particularly tense moment, as whispers about possible roster changes grow louder. The Lakers' inability to advance past the first round of the playoffs made it clear that the team has some critical gaps to fill. Unfortunately, the front office doesn't have an abundance of valuable assets to offer in trade negotiations. That reality has thrust Reeves into the spotlight, not because of his shortcomings, but because his talent and favorable contract make him one of the few attractive pieces the Lakers could leverage in the trade market. A valuable asset in a tight market. Last month, NBA analyst Bill Simmons, speaking on his podcast for The Ringer, made a bold statement that shook the Lakers fan base. According to Simmons, Los Angeles is preparing to move Reeves in a trade, viewing him as their only significant asset capable of bringing back a starting caliber center, a glaring need on the current roster. When Austin Reaves gets traded this offseason, and yes, it's going to happen, the return package the Lakers get will only make it more painful that Dallas didn't seize the opportunity to acquire him in the potential Doncic trade, Simmons remarked during his show. Simmons' comments fueled speculation around the league. Media outlets, insiders, and fans immediately began debating possible scenarios. Which teams might pursue Reeves? What would the Lakers demand in return? And perhaps the most pressing question of all, is trading him truly the right move? Reeves stays focused amidst the noise. Despite the swirling rumors, Austin Reaves remains grounded. His approach is simple: block out the distractions, put his head down, and keep working. It's an attitude that has defined his journey since entering the league as an undrafted player, fighting tooth and nail for every opportunity. "I don't pay attention to the headlines," Reeves said when asked about the trade rumors. "I just stay locked in, keep working, and focus on what I can control. That's probably a big reason why I've made it this far in my career." His words reflect a maturity beyond his years, the mindset of someone who understands the unpredictable nature of professional basketball, yet refuses to let uncertainty derail his dedication to the game. A future full of possibilities. Looking ahead, Reeves also weighed in on the Lakers' recent moves and what they could mean for the team's future. In February, the Lakers executed one of the most talked-about trades of the decade by acquiring Luka Doncic, an MVP-caliber superstar, while also securing LeBron James for at least one more season. With this foundation in place, Reeves believes the Lakers are poised to make a serious run at the championship. "I think the sky's the limit for this team," he said with optimism. Adding Luka, a generational talent who's still so young, gives us a core that can compete now and for years to come. And of course, having Bron still out there doing what he does even at 40, it's just incredible. His basketball IQ and leadership are unmatched. For Austin Reaves, the vision is clear. Continue building something special in Los Angeles, alongside legends and future Hall of Famers. Whether the front office shares that vision, however, remains to be seen. As the NBA offseason drew closer, the tension within the Los Angeles Lakers organization began to rise. What started as subtle speculation quickly escalated into a relentless storm of rumors. Despite Austin Reaves' clear and heartfelt desire to remain a Laker for life, his name became one of the hottest topics in trade discussions across the league. What once felt like distant noise was now a daily headline. NBA insiders started reporting that multiple teams had begun inquiring about Reeves' availability. His combination of skill, versatility, and a team-friendly contract made him one of the most appealing trade assets in the entire league. For rival franchises, this was an opportunity. For the Lakers, it was a difficult dilemma. Hold on to a rising star deeply connected to the team's identity or leverage him to fix glaring weaknesses in the roster. The Bill Simmons effect. Fueling the fire was a controversial statement made by renowned NBA analyst Bill Simmons during his podcast. Simmons didn't just hint at the possibility of a trade. He spoke as if it was inevitable. When Reeves gets traded this summer, and trust me it's happening, the Lakers are going to end up with something decent, but it will still hurt. It'll sting even more when you remember that Dallas didn't pull the trigger on him in the Doncic trade talks, Simmons proclaimed. His words sent shockwaves through social media. Fans were divided. Some understood the logic. The Lakers were in desperate need of a reliable big man, someone who could anchor the defense and provide size, something the roster was clearly lacking. Others felt heartbroken at the thought of losing a player who embodied grit, heart, and the underdog spirit that Lakers fans had grown to love. Front office pressures. Behind the scenes, the Lakers front office was facing one of the most challenging decisions of the past decade. The acquisition of Luka Doncic had significantly raised expectations. Pairing Doncic with LeBron James created a superstar duo capable of competing at the highest level, but it also exposed new vulnerabilities, particularly in the frontcourt. The Lakers' general manager, along with key decision-makers, analyzed every scenario. Trading Reeves could potentially bring back a starting center. Perhaps someone like Jarrett Allen, Miles Turner, or Clint Capella, names that were quietly circulating in NBA circles. However, parting ways with Reeves wasn't just a basketball decision. It was an emotional one. It meant moving on from a player who had defied all odds to become a fan favorite. Austin's calm amid chaos. While the media frenzy grew louder, Austin Reaves remained remarkably composed. Reporters tried to bait him into reacting, asking pointed questions about the trade rumors, his relationship with management, and whether he had spoken to LeBron or Luka about his future. "I can't control any of that," Reeves responded during a press conference. "All I can control is how I show up every day, how I practice, how I prepare, how I compete. I love this team. I love this city. Whatever happens, happens. But my focus doesn't change." His calm demeanor wasn't just for show. Teammates often commented on Reeves' professionalism. Whether it was off-season training sessions, charity events, or informal workouts, Reeves showed up, locked in, with no signs of distraction. Teammates rallied around him. Inside the locker room, the uncertainty surrounding Reeves didn't go unnoticed. Several players voiced their support both privately and publicly. LeBron James posted a cryptic tweet that many interpreted as backing Reeves. "Some things money can't buy. Some things stats can't measure. Heart, IQ, will to win." Fans immediately speculated that LeBron's message was a subtle push to the front office, hinting that keeping Reeves should be a priority. Similarly, Luka Doncic, although newer to the Lakers, expressed admiration for Reeves' game. "Austin is one of those guys who makes everyone's job easier," Luka told reporters. "He plays the right way. High IQ. Tough. Doesn't care about stats, just about winning." The weight of expectations. As days turned into weeks, the uncertainty became suffocating for fans. NBA draft night loomed, and with it, the likelihood that a major trade could unfold. Every tweet from an NBA insider, every vague Instagram post from a player, sent the internet into chaos. The Lakers had entered win-now mode with the acquisition of Doncic. LeBron wasn't getting any younger, despite his superhuman ability to defy age. The pressure to maximize this championship window was enormous. But the front office also knew that losing someone like Reeves could have long-term consequences, not just on the court but culturally, in terms of identity, chemistry, and connection to the fan base. A decision approaching. The days ahead would be critical. Conversations with other teams intensified. Offers were being made, counter-offers were being weighed. Reeves, despite his laser focus, couldn't fully escape the reality that his future in purple and gold was hanging by a thread. The Lakers were approaching a crossroads. Would they pull the trigger on a blockbuster trade, sacrificing heart for size? Or would they double down on the core that had brought them this far, trusting that internal growth and health would be enough to contend? No matter what happened next, one thing was certain. The outcome would reshape not only Austin Reaves' career but also the future trajectory of one of the NBA's most storied franchises. The days following the intensification of trade rumors felt like walking a tightrope for everyone connected to the Los Angeles Lakers. The front office, the coaching staff, the players, and even the fan base collectively held their breath, awaiting the next move that could redefine the future of the franchise. At the center of it all stood Austin Reaves, the unlikely star whose career had blossomed in the bright lights of Los Angeles. For Reeves, every text, every phone call, and every notification carried the weight of uncertainty. Yet, he continued his routine as if nothing had changed. Early morning workouts, afternoon film sessions, and late-night shooting drills became his sanctuary, a way to block out the chaos of the NBA's business side. "I can't afford to think about what might happen," he admitted in an interview. "I've always believed that if you put your head down and work, everything else falls into place." The business of basketball. Inside the Lakers' headquarters, the mood was a mixture of urgency and caution. The front office was analyzing data, weighing analytics against intangibles. The core issue was simple but brutally difficult. How much is chemistry worth? How do you quantify heart, grit, and leadership, the very qualities that Austin Reaves brought to the locker room every day? On paper, trading Reeves for a top-tier center made perfect sense. The Lakers had struggled with rim protection and rebounding, weaknesses that had been brutally exposed during their early playoff exit. A reliable big man could balance the roster, giving Luka Doncic and LeBron James more freedom to operate without worrying about defensive collapses in the paint. But the emotional side told a different story. Losing Reeves wouldn't just be a transaction, it would be a gut punch to the soul of the team. The fans speak out. As news outlets speculated non-stop, Lakers fans made their voices heard. Social media exploded with hashtags like #KeepReeves and #LakerForLife, trending globally within hours. Fans flooded the team's official accounts with messages of support, pleading with the front office not to make what many saw as a short-sighted decision. Murals of Reeves started popping up in neighborhoods across Los Angeles, right next to those of Kobe Bryant, Magic Johnson, and LeBron. It was a testament to how deeply he had embedded himself into the culture of the city, not through flashy stats but through hustle, resilience, and an underdog spirit that resonated with millions. The locker room atmosphere. Inside the Lakers' practice facility, there was an unspoken tension. Players tried to keep the mood light, joking, laughing, staying focused on the upcoming season, but everyone knew what was at stake. Luka Doncic was one of the first to break the silence. "I don't know what's going to happen," he said candidly to reporters. "But I hope the front office knows how valuable Austin is, not just as a player but as a teammate. He does everything right." LeBron echoed the sentiment in a private conversation that later leaked to the media. Reportedly, LeBron told team executives, "You don't find guys like that every day. You trade him, you better know exactly what you're doing." A look back, the journey so far. For Austin Reaves, the whirlwind of uncertainty triggered memories of his unconventional journey to the NBA. Undrafted, overlooked, and doubted, he clawed his way into the league not through pedigree but through persistence. His story wasn't one of privilege but of relentless effort, staying after practice, diving for loose balls, doing the little things no one else wanted to do. "I wasn't supposed to be here," Reeves often said when reflecting on his rise. But that's the beauty of it. Every day in this league is a blessing. His bond with Lakers fans wasn't just about basketball. It was symbolic. In a city that celebrates stars but also roots for the grinders, Austin Reaves became both. Negotiations reached a boiling point. As draft night approached, the Lakers front office was in constant communication with multiple teams. The offers were real and some were enticing. Reports surfaced that the Indiana Pacers were offering a package centered around Miles Turner. Another report hinted that the Cleveland Cavaliers had floated the idea of a deal involving Jarrett Allen. The Lakers' decision-makers were split. Some saw the trade as a necessary sacrifice to maximize the remaining championship window with LeBron and Luka. Others argued that disrupting the team's chemistry, especially when Reeves had become the connective tissue, was too risky. "If we trade Austin," one anonymous team executive was quoted as saying, "we better win the title. Because if we don't, we'll never hear the end of it." The calm before the storm. As the sun set over Los Angeles the night before the draft, a strange quiet fell over the city. Fans, players, and media personalities waited anxiously for a notification, a tweet, a breaking news alert that would signal the Lakers' decision. Austin Reaves, meanwhile, spent the evening doing what he always did, in the gym. Alone, focused, and sweating under the harsh lights of an empty court, working on his jumper, perfecting his footwork, and reminding himself why he started this journey in the first place. "No matter what happens," he told a friend that night, "I'll be ready." Draft night arrived, and with it, a palpable tension settled over Los Angeles. The Lakers' war room was buzzing with constant chatter, phones ringing non-stop, and front office executives pacing, exchanging glances that communicated more than words ever could. This wasn't just a draft. It was the night the future of the franchise would be reshaped. At the center of every conversation was Austin Reaves. The offers on the table. The Lakers had multiple offers lined up. The Indiana Pacers proposed Miles Turner, an elite rim protector and stretch big who could solve Los Angeles's glaring defensive issues. The Cavaliers dangled Jarrett Allen, a rebounding machine with defensive prowess. Another dark horse appeared at the last minute. The Atlanta Hawks offered Clint Capella and a first-round pick. The offers were tempting. Each provided a solution to the Lakers' front-court problems, but each also came with a heavy cost: the heart and soul of the team in the form of Austin Reaves. Inside the war room, discussions grew heated. Some executives argued passionately for making the trade. "We're one piece away," one voice said. "LeBron's not going to be playing forever. Luka is entering his prime. This is our window. We have to go for it." Others pushed back just as hard. "You don't just replace chemistry. You don't just replace what Austin brings in the locker room and on the court. If we trade him, we risk breaking something that might not be fixable." The clock ticked closer to the start of the draft. Every minute felt like an hour. Austin waits in the shadows. Miles away, Austin Reaves sat with close friends and family in his apartment, eyes glued to the TV, phone resting silently on the coffee table. Every time it buzzed, his heart skipped a beat. He wasn't naive. He knew the business side of the NBA. He knew trades could happen even when players didn't want them to. But this felt different. This was personal. "It's weird," he admitted quietly to his brother. "All my life I fought just to be here. And now I might be fighting to stay." LeBron steps in. Unbeknownst to the public, a critical call was being made behind the scenes. LeBron James picked up his phone, dialed Rob Pelinka, the Lakers general manager, and laid it out clearly. "If you trade Austin," LeBron said, "you better be absolutely sure. He's more than just numbers. He's one of those glue guys. You win championships with players like that." LeBron's words carried weight, not just because of his status, but because he had seen firsthand the difference between teams that valued chemistry and those that didn't. The final hour. With only 15 minutes left before the draft began, the Lakers' front office reached a breaking point. Pelinka stood up, looked around the room, and silenced everyone. "This is the call," he said. "Are we going all in for a big now, or do we ride with what we have, with Luka, Bron, AD, and Austin?" The room fell silent. Then, slowly, heads began nodding in agreement. "We ride," someone said. "Yeah, we ride," echoed another. Phones were picked up. One by one, Pelinka called back each team in the running. "Appreciate the offer. We're passing." The announcement. Minutes later, NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski tweeted what Lakers fans had been praying for. Sources: the Lakers are keeping Austin Reaves. Trade talks are off the table. Front office fully committed to the current core. Twitter exploded. Instagram was flooded with celebratory posts. Live streams popped up across YouTube titled, "Reeves Stays." Fans who had been refreshing their phones nonstop finally breathed a collective sigh of relief. Austin's reaction. Back in his apartment, Austin saw the tweet pop up on his screen. He didn't jump up. He didn't scream. Instead, A quiet smile spread across his face. His family cheered, hugged him, and his phone buzzed nonstop with messages from teammates, coaches, and friends. "Told you I wasn't going anywhere," he said, half joking but fully relieved. A message to the fans. Shortly after, Austin posted a message on Instagram. "Laker Nation, you're stuck with me. Let's get to work." The comments section flooded instantly. Fire emojis. Purple and gold hearts. Messages like "Laker for life" and "Run it back" echoed from every corner of the fan base. The fallout. Not everyone in the league was thrilled. Rival GMs expressed frustration that the Lakers had refused to part with Reeves, calling it a missed opportunity to weaken them. Analysts debated whether passing on an elite center was the right move. But inside the Lakers' locker room, the mood was euphoric. Luka Doncic sent Reeves a text that simply read, "Let's cook." LeBron followed with, "Championship mindset. Nothing less." Turning the page. The decision had been made. The noise faded. The city exhaled. But the real work was just beginning. Keeping Reeves wasn't the end of the story, it was the start of a new chapter. A chapter where expectations were higher than ever. Where no excuses would be accepted. Where failure wasn't an option. Austin knew it. The Lakers knew it. The league knew it. Now it was time to prove that keeping the heart of the team was the right choice. Not just emotionally but on the scoreboard where it mattered most. The dust had barely settled from the frenzy of draft night, but a new energy pulsed through Los Angeles. The decision to keep Austin Reaves sent a powerful message, not just to the fans but to the entire NBA. The Lakers weren't just assembling a roster of superstars. They were building a team with soul, heart, and identity. For Austin, the following morning felt different. He woke up to hundreds of missed calls, text messages, and social media notifications from friends, teammates, former coaches, and even complete strangers thanking him for staying true to the purple and gold. "It still doesn't feel real sometimes," he said during an interview with a local LA radio station. "To be in this position, to have the support of the fans, the trust of the organization. I'm just grateful. Now it's time to get back to work." Training camp begins. As summer rolled into fall, the Lakers training camp opened with more cameras, reporters, and media attention than usual. Everyone wanted to see how the core of LeBron James, Luka Doncic, Anthony Davis, and Austin Reaves would mesh. The vibe in the gym was electric. Coaches pushed the tempo, shouting instructions as players sprinted through drills, their sneakers squeaking against the hardwood. But something stood out, an undeniable sense of camaraderie. "It's different this year," head coach Darvin Ham told reporters. "There's a sense of purpose. These guys know what's at stake. And Austin? He's at the center of it all." Reeves levels up. Throughout camp, it was clear that Reeves wasn't satisfied with simply being a role player. He attacked every drill with the focus of someone who knew this was his chance to elevate his game and his legacy. Reports from inside the gym described Reeves as relentless. His shooting had improved dramatically, particularly from deep. His handle was tighter. His defensive instincts sharper. Luka Doncic noticed it immediately. "He's not the same guy from last year," Luka said with a grin. "He's better. Way better." LeBron, a master of reading the moment, took Reeves aside one afternoon after a grueling practice. "This is your time now," LeBron told him. "People doubted you before. They won't anymore. Play like you belong, because you do." The preseason test. The Lakers' first preseason game was circled on every fan's calendar. While the outcome of preseason matchups rarely means much, this one felt symbolic. It was a statement of intent. When the lights came on, Reeves stepped onto the floor not as a supporting cast member, but as a foundational piece of the team. His confidence radiated with every possession. First quarter, a deep three from the corner. Swish. Second quarter, a smooth pick and roll with Anthony Davis, finishing with an acrobatic reverse layup. Third quarter, a defensive stop, stripping the ball from the opposing guard, leading to a fast break dunk. By the time he checked out late in the third, the crowd at Crypto.com Arena was chanting, "Reeves, Reeves, Reeves." He finished with 21 points, 6 assists, and 4 steals, a line that would have been impressive in a regular season game, let alone preseason. Post-game spotlight. In the post-game press conference, Reeves sat between LeBron and Luka, both veterans visibly proud of their teammate. "This guy," LeBron said, nodding at Austin, "he's a killer. Don't let the smile fool you." Luka laughed, adding, "If we don't win with this group, it won't be because of him. He does everything right." Reeves, always humble, deflected the praise. "I just try to do my job. Whatever the team needs, that's what I'm here for." But the message was clear to everyone watching. This wasn't the same Austin Reaves that had entered the league as an undrafted rookie. This was a player evolving into one of the most important pieces on a title-contending team. The league takes notice. Across the NBA, coaches and analysts started adjusting their scouting reports. "Reeves isn't just a role player anymore," one anonymous Eastern Conference scout admitted. "He's a problem. He's the third star they didn't know they had." Talk shows debated whether Reeves should be in the conversation for Most Improved Player. Former players like J.J. Redick and Richard Jefferson praised his growth, calling him a blueprint for every young player who thinks going undrafted is the end of the road. Personal growth off the court. Despite the rising fame, Reeves remained grounded. He still lived in the same modest house in the suburbs of L.A. On off days, he could be found at local golf courses or grabbing tacos from the same spots he'd frequented since his rookie year. "It's important to remember where you came from," he often said. "This game can change your life, but it doesn't change who you are unless you let it." Setting the tone for the season. As training camp wrapped and the preseason came to an end, the Lakers gathered for one final team meeting. Coach Ham stood at the front, but instead of delivering a speech, he called on Reeves. "Say something to the guys," Ham instructed. Austin stood, looking around the room, at LeBron, at Luka, at AD, at every player, coach and staff member who had believed in him. "We've got everything we need right here," he said. "All that's left is to go out and take it. No excuses. Let's go win this thing." The room erupted in applause, cheers, and a new sense of unity. This was no longer just LeBron's team. No longer just Luka's team. This was the Los Angeles Lakers, and Austin Reaves was undeniably one of its leaders. Opening night arrived and Los Angeles was buzzing like never before. Crypto.com Arena was a sea of purple and gold, fans waving banners, chanting, and filling the air with a mixture of anticipation and electricity. This wasn't just the start of another NBA season. It was the beginning of something the city hadn't seen in years. A roster built to win now, with the perfect blend of legends, rising superstars, and one undeniable underdog, Austin Reaves. The national spotlight. The NBA scheduled the Lakers for prime time, knowing the storylines were irresistible. LeBron James, entering his 22nd season, somehow still defying time. Luka Doncic, the European prodigy who had joined the Lakers in a blockbuster trade. Anthony Davis still anchoring the defense. And then there was Austin, the undrafted guard who refused to be a footnote in someone else's legacy. ESPN's pregame coverage couldn't stop talking about him. "Austin Reaves is no longer just a role player," declared one analyst. "He's a core piece of this championship puzzle. You can't write the story of this Lakers season without him," another chimed in. The tip-off. As the lights dimmed and the player introductions echoed through the arena, Austin stood in the tunnel, staring out at the crowd. He closed his eyes for a moment, soaking it in. 4 years ago he was undrafted, unsure if he'd even make a roster. Now his name was being screamed by 20,000 fans. Starting at shooting guard, Austin Reaves. The roar was deafening. The game tipped off against the reigning champions, a true test right out of the gate. The opponent came out aggressive, clearly trying to set the tone, especially targeting Austin on both ends. They wanted to see if the hype was real. The first quarter storm. The pressure was suffocating in the opening minutes. The opposing defense trapped Luka, funneled drives into Davis, and threw double teams at LeBron. That left Reeves as the open man, exactly what the defense wanted. First possession, Reeves caught the ball in the corner. Wide open. He hesitated. Pump fake. Pass. Missed opportunity. The second time down, same result. The ball swung to him at the top of the key. Open three. He passed again. Shoot the ball, Austin. Luka shouted from midcourt. Reeves nodded, resetting his mind. Third time, he caught it on the wing, rose up without thinking and let it fly. Swish. The crowd exploded. A weight lifted. The hesitation was gone. Finding his rhythm. Once the first shot fell, the game slowed down. Reeves played like the version of himself that had won over Laker Nation. Step back jumper? Buckets. Baseline drive, absorbing contact? And one. Diving for loose balls, scrapping on defense, igniting fast breaks, he was everywhere. By halftime, he had 14 points, 4 assists and 3 steals. The Lakers led by 6. The championship standard. In the locker room, the mood was calm but focused. LeBron paced, towel around his neck, offering advice. Luka, sitting next to Reeves, leaned over. "This is what it's gonna be all year," Luka said. "They're gonna dare you to beat them. And you will." Reeves nodded. The gravity of the moment settled in. This wasn't just about one night. This was about proving over and over that he belonged. The fourth quarter battle. The game tightened late. Trading buckets, defensive stops, and lead changes, everything you'd expect from two title contenders. With 1:22 left on the clock, the Lakers were down by 1. LeBron drove, kicked it out to Luka, who was swarmed by defenders. Luka swung the ball one more time. It found Austin in the corner. Wide open. No hesitation. Splash. Three-pointer. Lakers up by 2. The crowd lost its mind. On the next possession, Reeves stole a lazy pass, sprinted down the court and finished through contact. Another and one. The place shook. Game, set, match. Post-game reverberations. Reporters flooded the floor after the buzzer. Cameras followed Austin as much as they did LeBron or Luka. Austin Reaves, clutch as it gets, the commentators gushed. In the post-game interview, standing under the bright lights, Reeves kept it humble. "I trust my work. I trust my teammates. That's all it is. We've got bigger goals than one win." Luka threw his arm around him mid-interview. "Y'all better start putting some respect on his name," Luka laughed. "This ain't a fluke." The NBA reacts. Across the league, players and fans took notice. Social media exploded. Kevin Durant, "Reeves got that dog in him fr." Damian Lillard, "Ice in his veins." Jamal Crawford, "Undrafted to undeniable." Stories crazy. Talk shows debated whether the Lakers now had the most balanced Big Four in the league. A new standard. Back in the locker room as the players celebrated the win, Coach Ham called everyone together. "Listen up," he said. "This ain't the peak. This is the baseline. This is who we are now." The team nodded in agreement. For Reeves, it was both a relief and a challenge. The dream was real, but so was the weight that came with it. The question wasn't whether he belonged anymore. The question was how far they could go together. The euphoria from opening night didn't last long. The NBA, ruthless and relentless, never allows anyone to bask in success for too long. The Lakers were now the hunted, a team everyone wanted to beat, a roster filled with stars and a glaring target on their backs. Austin Reaves knew this better than anyone. The first stumble. A week into the season, the Lakers faced a brutal back-to-back stretch. Travel fatigue, injuries, and the relentless grind of NBA scheduling started to creep in. Anthony Davis tweaked his ankle. Luka nursed a sore hamstring. LeBron, defying age but still human, played reduced minutes. Suddenly, the load shifted heavily toward Reeves. Game after game, teams began crafting defenses specifically to slow him down. Bigger, stronger defenders pressed him full court. Opponents trapped him in pick and rolls, forced him into difficult shots, and dared him to carry the offense. There were games where the shots didn't fall. Turnovers piled up. Critics resurfaced. "Maybe Austin Reaves isn't built to be a third option," a national analyst said. Nice story, but the NBA always balances things out. Social media, as brutal as ever, flooded with doubt. Overrated. Lakers should have traded him. Not a star. Just a role player getting lucky. Doubt creeps in. For the first time in months, Reeves felt something gnawing at him. Doubt. It was subtle at first. A missed shot that lingered longer in his mind than it should. A turnover that echoed louder than the countless successful plays he'd made. Late at night, in the quiet of his apartment overlooking the LA skyline, he stared out the window, questioning, "Am I really built for this? Was this just a moment, or can I sustain it?" A call that changed everything. On one particularly tough night after a brutal loss in Denver, Reeves sat in the locker room long after his teammates had left. As he scrolled through his phone, contemplating whether to silence the noise or fight back, his screen lit up. A FaceTime call. Kobe Bryant's former trainer. Phil Handy, Lakers assistant coach and a mentor to many, appeared on the screen. "You still in the gym?" Phil asked. "Nah, just sitting here." Phil paused, then said quietly, "Kobe would tell you this is where the real ones are made. Not in the good times, but right here when everyone's doubting you. When it hurts. When it's heavy. You coming?" Without hesitation, Reeves grabbed his shoes, walked back onto the empty court and started shooting. Midnight grind. For the next 3 hours, it was just him, Phil, and the echo of basketballs hitting the rim. No cameras. No fans. No applause. Phil drilled him relentlessly. 4. Mid-range pull-ups. Spot-up threes. One-dribble counters. Fadeaways over bigger defenders. "You want to be great? Then stop listening to people who've never been here," Phil barked. "This is your story. Write it how you want." Sweat poured. Hands blistered. Legs burned. When it was done, Reeves sat at half court, breathing heavy but feeling lighter than he had in weeks. The turnaround game. The very next game, the Lakers faced the Phoenix Suns, another Western Conference juggernaut. The media framed it as a must-win, a chance for LA to show they weren't spiraling. From the opening tip, Reeves played possessed. A quick pull-up three in the first possession. Next, a baseline drive finishing high off the glass through contact. Then a steal on the perimeter, leading to a fast break dunk that brought the crowd to its feet. By halftime, Reeves had 19 points. By the fourth, he crossed the 30-point mark for the first time that season. But it wasn't just scoring, it was the way he played. Confident. Aggressive. Fearless. The hesitation was gone. The doubt was dead. The Lakers won by double digits. Post-game statement. In the post-game presser, reporters asked him directly, "Austin, were you hearing the noise this past week?" He smiled. "Of course. I'm human. But noise doesn't define who I am. Work does. My teammates believe in me. The coaches believe in me. And I believe in myself." LeBron, sitting nearby, chuckled. "Told y'all. He's built for this." The fans rallied behind him. The turnaround wasn't just felt on the court. Lakers fans, always passionate, sometimes brutal, rallied behind him. A mural popped up downtown, undrafted, unbothered, unstoppable. Jerseys with Reeves number 15 sold out overnight. Kids lined up outside the arena holding homemade signs, "Austin, you inspire me." Behind the scenes. Despite the rising fame, the midnight workouts didn't stop. If anything, they intensified. Phil Handy sent him a simple text after the Suns game. "The job's not finished." Reeves replied with a thumbs-up emoji, followed by a photo of his scuffed-up basketball shoes. A message to the league. The NBA noticed. Again. Analysts now flipped their narratives. "Austin Reaves might be the toughest player mentally on this Lakers team," said an ESPN commentator. When the world doubted him, he doubled down on himself. Players across the league started showing love, recognizing that his rise wasn't luck, it was forged in fire. Conclusion, battle hardened. As the Lakers pushed deeper into the season, one thing became undeniable. Austin Reaves wasn't just a feel-good story. He was battle-tested, resilient, an essential part of a team chasing greatness. The league had tried to shake his confidence. Instead, they made him stronger. The NBA is as much a business as it is a game. No matter how tight the bonds in the locker room seem, there's always the looming presence of trade rumors, contract talks, and front office decisions that can shatter even the strongest brotherhoods. Austin Reaves was about to be reminded of that. The rumors return. As the trade deadline approached, whispers began swirling again. The Lakers are searching for a dominant center. Multiple teams are inquiring about Austin Reaves. Sources say the front office may sacrifice key pieces for a championship push. It was as if no matter how well he played, no matter how deep his connection was to the city, his name would always be the first floated in trade talks. The reality hit hard. NBA insiders posted reports non-stop. Lakers considering trading Reeves for a former All-Star big. Reeves is the most valuable asset on the roster not named Luka or LeBron. The media frenzy was suffocating. Locker room tension. It seeped into the locker room. You could feel it, not spoken but heavy in the air. Conversations became shorter. Smiles a bit more forced. Everyone checking their phones more than usual. Reeves sat at his locker, lacing his shoes, staring at the ESPN ticker running across the TV. Breaking, Lakers in advanced talks. He shook his head. Luka walked by, slapped his shoulder. Ignore it, Luka muttered. You're not going anywhere. But even Luka sounded like he was trying to convince himself. A meeting with the king. LeBron pulled Reeves aside after practice. Listen, Bron said, looking him dead in the eyes. I've seen this 1,000 times. You can't control it. Front offices do what they do. All you can control is how you show up. And you've shown up every damn time. Reeves nodded but stayed silent. And for what it's worth, Bron added, I told Rob, Pelinka, and Jeannie, Bus, we don't win anything without you. Those words hit like a lightning bolt. Comforting. Empowering. But the uncertainty still lingered. The betrayal moment. Then the WOJ bomb dropped. Lakers and Raptors are finalizing a deal. Talks include Austin Reaves, draft picks, and... The locker room phones buzzed in unison. Reeves stared at his screen in disbelief. Luka spun around from his chair. No way. Seconds felt like hours. Refresh. 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 Then an update. Deal fell apart. Talks broke down at the last minute. Silence turned into an eruption of laughter, disbelief, and relief. Players hugged. Luka leaned back, shaking his head. Bro, they really almost did it. Reeves sat there numb. Relieved. Shaken. Awake. The mental shift. Something changed in him after that. It was as if the last bit of innocence he carried about loyalty in the NBA was gone. This wasn't just about love for the game. This was survival. This was legacy. If they were willing to trade me, I better make damn sure they regret ever thinking about it. A new fire. That night against the Milwaukee Bucks, Reeves unleashed something the league hadn't seen yet. First possession, crossed up Drew Holiday, drained a step-back three. Next trip, drove right at Giannis, absorbed contact and finished with the left hand. On defense, dove for every loose ball, took charges, fought through every screen. By halftime, the crowd was chanting his name. Over and over. US 10. US 10. US 10. The brotherhood solidifies. Luka was the first to embrace him after the buzzer. Ain't no one trading you now, Luka grinned. Even Davis, usually stoic, wrapped an arm around him. You showed them, AD nodded. In the locker room, Coach Ham gathered the team. Front office does their thing. We do ours. This group, we fight together. No matter what's happening up there, he said, pointing toward the executive suites above. The team banged on lockers, clapped, and roared in agreement. Off the court reflection. Later that night, back in his apartment, Reeves sat on his balcony, the LA skyline glowing below. He reflected. The kid from Newark, Arkansas. Undrafted. Overlooked. Almost traded. Nah, he muttered to himself. I'm right where I'm supposed to be. Then his phone buzzed. A text from Kobe's former trainer. Kobe always said, job's not finished. Reeves smiled. Bet. A message sent league-wide. The morning headlines told the story. Reeves responds to trade rumors with career-high performance. Lakers better realize what they've got. Austin Reaves, from undrafted to untradeable. Even NBA stars chimed in. Kevin Durant, different breed. Draymond Green, you don't trade Hart like that. Jason Tatum, salute to Austin. Dude's a killer. Conclusion, Unshakable. From that point on, there was a shift, not just in how the Lakers saw him but how the entire NBA viewed Austin Reaves. No longer the undrafted kid. No longer a trade chip. No longer just a role player. Austin Reaves was a pillar, a fighter, a Laker in every sense of the word. And the league knew. The story wasn't done yet. The season was winding down. The highs, the lows, the battles fought on hardwood, everything had led to this moment. The Lakers were no longer just a team trying to prove a point, they were contenders in every sense. And Austin Reaves was no longer just the underdog, he was a cornerstone. Playoff pulse. The playoffs arrived with an electric charge. The city of Los Angeles pulsed with hope and expectation. For Austin, each game was a test not just of skill but of will. Every possession mattered. Every shot carried the weight of dreams, his own and those of a franchise longing for a championship. The Lakers faced fierce opponents, each series a war of strategy and stamina. Through it all, Austin was steady. His mid-range jumpers, defensive hustle, and clutch plays turned him into a reliable weapon. He wasn't the star who took the spotlight, but the one who made the stars shine brighter. The finals beckon. Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals. The arena packed, a cauldron of noise, anticipation, and tension. The score was tight. Seconds ticking away. The ball found Austin on the wing. Time seemed to slow. He dribbled, guarded by the league's best perimeter defender. Pump fake. Step back. Swish. The crowd erupted. The Lakers took the lead. LeBron's passing of the torch. After the game in the locker room, LeBron approached Austin. "You earned this, kid," LeBron said quietly. "You're not just a part of this team, you're part of the legacy. Remember that." Austin felt the gravity of the moment. The passing of the torch from one generation to the next. Championship night. The finals were grueling, testing every ounce of will. The Lakers pushed hard, with Austin playing the best basketball of his life. Defensive stops, timely threes, fearless drives, the embodiment of heart. When the final buzzer sounded on the championship-clinching game, the arena exploded in jubilation. Austin stood amid the celebration, tears in his eyes, soaking in the magnitude. From undrafted to champion. From doubted to indispensable. Legacy secured. Weeks later, as confetti rained down and the trophy gleamed under the bright lights, Austin spoke at the press conference. "This isn't just my story. It's the story of every kid who was overlooked, every player who was doubted. This is proof, hard work, belief, and loyalty can defy the odds." He looked out at the sea of reporters, fans, and cameras. "I want to stay here. I want to finish my career with the Lakers. This is home. The future awaits." Austin Reaves wasn't just a player anymore. He was a symbol. A testament to perseverance, loyalty, and heart. Los Angeles had found its new hero, one who carried the past, the present, and the future all at once. And as the city celebrated long into the night, one thing was clear. The legend of Austin Reaves was just beginning.